All right, everyone, it's 7:30, so I'm going to go ahead and call us to order, and Sarah can start the roll call.
Adams.
Here.
Berlin.
Here.
Carrier.
Here.
DeCiani. Eckhoff.
Here.
Hart. Henry. Here. Mendrick.
Here.
Rutledge.
Here.
Spellman.
Here.
White.
Here.
Yeah.
Great. No public comment, or I'm sorry, nothing under chairwoman's remarks. No public comment this morning? No. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting.
Second. Chair, I was just talking about member DeCiani's remote.
Oh,
Requesting to participate.
okay. I don't have the sheet in front of me, but we have one member DeCiani, requesting remote participation. OMA allows for 3 different reasons, and one of those is employment. So can I get a motion in a second?
So moved. Second.
Any comments, questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, welcome member DeCiani. I think we had a motion. Do we have a second on the minutes?
I did not hear the.
I motioned, I think
Thank
Gwen seconded.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Okay,
motion in a
Jeannie.
second. Any comments, questions, discussion on that item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain.
Okay, right here. Thank you. Next up are procurement requisitions. I'll take a motion on TEP 0260-22. So recommendation for the approval of a contract to Esri for the ArcGIS Velocity application, which is part of our GIS system. This contract goes from October 1st of 22 through November 30th of 23 for a total of $51,464, and this is sole source.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any comments, questions about this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Next up, TECO 20-22 is the amendment to county contract 5392-1-SERV issued. I'm just
Go
going
ahead.
to doing business as Wally's Printing, as not butcher anyone's name. This is for envelopes and printing. It's an increase of 29.42%.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any comments, questions on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next up, item C 2022-78, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Granicus. This is for our gov delivery software that sends out our newsletters from October 26, 22 to October 25th, 2023 for a total of $26,632.30.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any comments, questions on this item?
Are you participating?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next up, 2022-79, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Learning Tree International for educational training vouchers. Bless you. This contract begins upon approval. It's $19,950 bought via the Governmental Joint Purchasing Act.
So moved.
All right,
Why don't
we're
you
gonna
say,
get
yeah,
the
all of
coffee
it?
put in here, I swear. All right, motion in a second. Any comments or questions here on item D?
I have a question. This is strictly for technology.
Yeah, this is for the technology department. So a total of 11 vouchers for the entire team. Most training courses cost about $2,000 per course, but it allows for us to train the entire staff, select staff, because it's 60 of us, but select staff whenever we need to.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, and by the way, the team did a great job, negotiated a additional voucher, so we get 11 for the price of 10. Small thing, but we
All the little small things, Adam. All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next up, item E 2022-80, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to CDWG for scanners. It's a 5-year contract that covers $18,350. This is an ARPA item. This is part of our judicial system. You know, we're upgrading over there, and so the scanning allows the SAO's office to reduce paper and have less of a footprint. This is an ARPA item.
And just a small point of clarification, it's for the software. We purchased the hardware already. We have the actual scanners. This is software that allows for them to take old files, scan them in, and digitize them. So it's a good thing for us long term.
We need a motion and a second on this item.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, item F, 2022-81, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Insight Public Sector for UPS backup power supply. It's a contract total of $17,873, exempt from competitive bids.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any comments, questions on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next up is our consent items. I'll take a motion to combine items A through Q on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to combine. Now we're gonna do the approval part and I will read each one. Right?
You should need to vote on the.
Combine, oh, all in favor of combining?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and then I just have to read
Yep.
it. All right. A is AT&T. These are all decreasing close. B, AT&T, C, CNA, CA Inc., D, Cardinal Color Group, E, Cardinal Color Group, F, CDWG, G is Verizon, H, Comcast Cable, I, GHA Technologies, J, MHC Software, K, Objective Corp, L, PCMG Inc., M, Physicians Record Co., N, Physicians Record Co., O, Physicians Record Co., P, Sentinel Technologies, and Q, Team Absolute. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any comments or questions on all of these decrease and close orders?
Should that have included Q?
I got you,
Thank you.
Team Absolute.
Okay.
Thank you, though. It's always good to make sure it's a long list. Yep. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next up, travel requests. A, authorization to travel approval is requested to have a GIS staff member attend and present at the annual Illinois GIS Association Conference in Bloomington, October 17th through October 18th of 2022 for a cost of $770.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions on this one? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next up is our presentation from Tom. Do you want to give a little
Thank you,
preview?
Madam Chair. Absolutely. So you guys participated in the last meeting where I presented and gave an update on some of the projects that we work on. There's tons of operational work that we do every day that we don't talk about. And it's good that you know what those things are. The GIS team is involved in tons of activities that provide important data to our citizens and then also elected officials and our departments. Data management, we have a huge source of great data that can be used to make better decisions across the entire county. The GIS team led by Tom Ricker is helping me pull that data together to present it to everyone so that we can make better decisions moving forward. They're doing a fantastic job. So I'm gonna give it over to Tom, who's just gonna talk about what we're doing with data analysis, how that information is pulled, presented, and is available to you to take a look at and use for whatever you need to, and others. So it's gonna be made available to other users outside of this technology committee, but right now we're gonna give you the first preview of what we're gonna present to others. Tom.
Okay, well, thank you. Let me provide this presentation. What I'm going to do with this presentation is have a webinar with county departments and staff so they can see, and get what we're talking about here. So make the most of your data. Okay, know your data sources. We have a lot of data out there. We have data in mainframe systems, be it your tax system, permitting system, work order system, other sources of data that you can provide from, say, surveys. Okay, and there's different types of surveys, state data that the state provides, the federal government provides. There's a lot of different data sources that are out there. New data sources that you can get data in from, say, from surveys, from sensors, and part of the Velocity is a program that will allow us to read that real-time information from sensors and from vehicles. Organize your data. So make sure that your data, once you get all these data sources in, let's look at it, let's organize it, let's see how up to date it is, okay? Set efficient workflows. So as data comes in, let's look at, see how that data is coming in. What do we need to do to prepare it to get it into an application so that it can be understandable? So you can analyze that data. So you can view the data, understand it, and then share it and collaborate with others. Now that we have the data, there we go. Now that we have the data, okay, we've got all this data, let's analyze it. Let's get it into an application so you can start understanding it, okay? And start, you know, preparing others so they can understand it. Once you see that data, you start getting insights to what's going on out there in the real world, what's affecting those constituents. Once you have that insight, then you've got good decision making. You got good information to make good decisions. What are our data sources? Again, operational systems, those are your tax systems, your large mainframe systems, okay, that you work on a day-to-day basis, over-the-counter type systems. Surveys and forms, survey that simple like SurveyMonkey. There's one that we have, which is called Survey 123, which is a geospatial surveys, and I'll explain that as we go forward. Outside agencies, data from federal and state government, that you can go to a website, you can download certain bits of information. There's different ways to access that information. Standalone data. You may have a staff member that has a spreadsheet that they've been maintaining for, you know, a year or so. Those are out there. And then field data, mobile devices, sensors, AVLs. Again, your operational systems, those are your large systems, your SQL Server, okay, they can be cloud-based, very large systems with large databases. There's a way to pull that information in easily, which is called a view, where we're pulling from various tables in those large systems, kind of connecting them through, identifying codes or IDs, and just packaging a small table coming out of that big system that can be just focused towards your project. Again, surveys and forms. New surveys, not digital, okay, we can access those. Those are a little kind of hard to work with. They're not real-time data, okay? They're maybe have a hard time pulling them into the table, so you can use that information into another application. Geospatial surveys are a survey when you fill out a form just like SurveyMonkey, but as there's a component where you can place a point on the map, and all that survey information coming from that form is attached to that location on the map. So now you can start doing spatial analysis from that form that comes in. Here's an example of Survey 123. Again, it's a handheld application. And then you can see in the back office, as that survey is submitted, it comes in real time. We can populate this or write code for this. So when a survey comes in, that an email is automatically sent out to a staff member that says, okay, yeah, survey has come in, review it, make sure that it's all, you know, properly filled out and can be activated. Here's an example. If you can see there in the red, excuse me, in the yellow are outreach locations, okay, that we had for the project. And in the purple are drive times, 15-minute drive times from each of those locations. Now, as we received that survey information, we grabbed a spatial point. So all the red are those actual survey locations. So we're able to analyze that survey coming in, look at where those areas overlap in those drive times, and see where the high service areas are and the low service areas are, and where the overlap is occurring. So we're taking that data and spatially looking at it, again, analyzing, providing us insight where we can allocate resources across the county.
We'll provide a copy of this so you can see it a little better.
Outside data sources, okay, simple Excel spreadsheets you can download, CSV files that the state provides. There's different APIs, there's JSONs and GeoJSONs. Those are direct links that you can tie into a state JSON file or a GeoJSON, and it automatically pulls that information whenever it's updated. So it's kind of a real-time access. Some of this data from the state, I've seen where it's old. They put it on their public portal, their open, you know, data portal. I've seen data that's from 2017, so it's old, you know, so just be aware of that. And sometimes it takes some reformatting to get that into your application that you need. Again, standalone data, so kind of self-explanatory. Sometimes this data can be not formatted and inconsistent because there's no standards like a database. And then field data. different options we can get data from, and some applications that we have from Esri, which is field maps and what is called quick capture. We can also tie in with the purchase that we did today, the velocity, where we were able to read AVL locations. In this case, the one that we're going to be applying at this season will be the snowplows. So we'll be pulling information from the snowplows when a blade is down, how much salt is coming off the truck, where the temperature, there's actually temperature gauges on the plow. The temperature of the roadway will be coming real time into that application. And then flood sensors. We can read actual flood sensors across the county and set programs that automatically trigger things that activate and notify others in the county of the situations out there real time. Okay, 80% of data stored in government has a spatial component to it. Now that we have that data, okay, what do we do with it? Okay, let's analyze it. Okay, we can take that information in a geospatial context and start overlaying it with other data. We can take census blocks with demographic information and see how those information, is being affected by different outcomes, from, for another one, for instance, a flood. We've got a flood parcel or something. Let's overlay it with elevation information. So we can start seeing that type of information. Again, bringing all that information in and getting the insight to what's going on out there. Buffers and drive times, like I showed earlier, okay? We can also do, if there's time date stamp on the information, we can actually do an application that looks at how that flow of data happens over time. So from a year to next year to a month, so you can actually see how that data is moving throughout the county. Now that we've got the analytics, we can provide applications that give you insight and decisions. So I don't know if you're familiar with this on the right here, over here. You see on the dashboard that's over there on the left here. Okay, you'll see a lot of these that we provide as you select, say, a bar graph. The numbers and the counts change, so they're dynamically applications to let you see and focus in on certain data sets. Here's the timestamp one, as you can see. This is the heroin over time. As you can see how it changes from the black, it'll change to the colors. You can see how fentanyl has come in over time. So you can see where those locations are, where they change real time over the county. And here's just a simple app we created, which is called Instant App. Okay, it's basically, this is demographic information for the LEAP program that gave us demographics per each zip code. How do we collaborate? Another application we have, which is called ArcGIS Hub. Hub is geared around what they call an initiative. So in this case, it's affordable housing initiative. Okay, it's a focused information of what for a certain project that the county may have. With this application, there's different collaborative efforts, level or groups, what we call. You can have one for overall general public, another group for, say, community leaders that you want to share certain information, and then county staff, all participating within this one initiative. So you can set applications, you can put videos in here, you can put a survey, like I said, survey 1, 2, 3 in there. You can put events schedulers so people can see events and they're notified of those events for that initiative. So it's all geared around the one initiative. And then also others, the collaborators, if they have data as well, you can give them a certain level where they can share their data into the overall initiative as well. So you're getting data from outside agencies and sharing and collaborating. One of the problems we have with data is duplication, omissions, and silos. Let's get rid of those. Let's find where those duplication data is in those old data sets. Okay, where do we have maybe two people have two spreadsheets for the same project? They're duplicating data. Which one's the most up to date? Let's look at those and kind of get those out in the open. Omissions, making sure that people are updating data, the fields that they need. Okay, that there's no data holes. We've seen some data sets where people over the years, they don't fill out that one field. Well, some cases they do, some don't. Different staff does it over time. And then silos. Some departments or whatever agencies that hold on to that data. They don't share it, they don't collaborate it. So all these are problems that limit real-time data and accuracy of the data. What can we do? What I want to do is work with departments and pinpoint the information that need analysis. Okay, so let's look at that data that you want to analyze for a project. Let's pinpoint those data sets. Where is that data coming from? Let's inventory. Let's look at those systems that those are coming out of. Is it a spreadsheet? Is it the mainframe? Is it a database from the state? So let's look at those. Let's inventory those. Note the quality. Let's look at those data sets. Are they up to date? Are they being maintained in a proper way? So when you're looking at that information, it's good information. It's quality information that you can use. Discover the methods. How do we obtain that information? How are we going to pull it out of that mainframe? How are we going to go out to the public and bring information in from the outside? Okay. Do we have sensors? Let's look at all those data points that are coming in and methods of pulling that information in, analyzing it, organizing it so it's understandable. Again, pinpoint the applications to manage and analyze, to view the information. Setting up collaborative effort paths. So let's look at those outside agencies and the public and how we want to share that data, how we want to collaborate and share that information across certain applications, and pinpoint an application that we can do that. So these are what I want to focus on when we meet with departments. I'm going to have this presentation and go a little more detailed, but then follow up with departments who want to actually go through it. We'll go through it, kind of do this analysis with them, sit down with them and focus in on this data, these data sets, all these kind of activities. So here's what we're looking at. As you can see here, this is the GIS staff here. These are our two, and this is all in the cloud. Most of our stuff, almost all of our stuff is in the cloud. So these are various applications that we have. We've got participants, we've got the public, okay, and we're sharing data coming from our databases to the public. Again, we have a survey 1, 2, 3 where that data is coming in. So we're getting data from the public that then is also being shared to staff and decision makers. We've got other collaborative effort from outside agencies. Again, survey 1, 2, 3, maybe they're providing us some information. And then we've got maybe staff and field crews over there on the right. All that information real time is coming in and being shared out to all those other participants. So we're not, again, hanging on to those silos of data. We're working a method where through that application, we can start sharing information, real-time information, and sharing it across all departments and all participants. So in closing, let's discover your data sources. Let's find workflows for collecting, maintaining, analyzing, sharing, collaborate, and inform the public. So let's discover the solution. Any questions?
Questions for Tom? Member Garcia?
Yeah, a couple questions. First of all, thank you so much. You know, I use GIS for decades, and it is such a useful tool, especially in like community development, stormwater, and now I'm seeing, you know, with DOT and everything like that. So it's fantastic. So the work you do is fantastic. The problem we used to have where I used to work is there was so many licenses. Is that a problem here, or is it available to everybody?
Most of it is the license right now is we are, since it's an online system, and we are moving most of our stuff to an internal where the licenses will be crossed for all staff departments for that. Some other, they analyze the analyst, the ArcGIS Pro stuff that we really do the heavy work and the editing. Those, we have 11 licenses for those, but we are looking at the next coming year is working with an enterprise agreement with Esri that provides us unlimited licenses. So that's
great.
something.
I think every
What we
staff
want to do
is.
prior to get that is because the license they do is on a certain level, how many participants, how many users you have, and they look at your population, Esri does. So they look at all that. So the next we're going to do is with these departments and getting that on board will give us a better focus on, you know, the type of licenses that we need. So gearing, you know, focusing on the actual license that we need in that agreement.
Okay, fantastic. Is that affordable housing hub? Is that up now?
That was a sample. We did that kind of for community development. They had a project where we did a survey for them and we did some applications. So I said, let's do just show them the power of what we can do for hub. We've got hub sites for the opioid awareness that the health department has. One, we're gonna be rolling out next week. We're meeting this afternoon with the sheriff's department for police transparency. That's another one. So those are what the hub is. It's a certain kind of initiative that you can focus and bring that simple site up. And what you do is you have public and then you have groups. So I can like have certain people participate in groups. So we can have a county staff group and we give them a higher level of access where they can edit data. You know, where the middle one is certain shared departments or outside agencies where we give them a little lower level of access to the data where they can, you know, modify it, maybe provide a spreadsheet that that would help in that effort. And then the public, what do we want to show the public? And public has no logins. So they just
So it's
go
not
to the site and
available,
they
but we
view it.
can make it available.
That would be great. I would
Okay.
love to have that
Yeah,
available.
any initiative, let us know, because then we can
We'll
work
make it
with the
available.
county staff and develop that.
And I would love to get this, I'm not on the committee here, but I'd love to get a copy of this presentation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, what we did for the affordable housing, like you said, there was with those agencies, those participating agencies that you saw on the site there. What we did in that example was we gave them access to a form. So if someone says, okay, I've got a new apartment complex, I want to make it part of this program, they would just be able to fill out that form, you know, while the person's on the phone, then it would automatically be added to that map that you saw. So people, the public can then zoom in and find it real time. So as they're filling that form, what we're trying to do is eliminate that, get that workflow so it's real time. So it's not a person filling out a paper form. That paper form then goes over and is put in a spreadsheet.
Right.
Okay, and then that spreadsheet goes and so, and that location is on a map. Let's eliminate that. Let's have it where they can just go to the hub site, they can log on, they can over the phone, answer the information, they put the address in, that point is on the map. All that form is automatically on the map, so they can click on that location and find who the owner is, maybe the rent or whatever. All that data is real time available to the public.
And they can't change anything.
No,
Okay.
just the participants in that one group that the public can't. So
It's
Thank you,
fantastic.
Tom.
Kudos to GIS. So,
Thank you. And if you have questions for Tyna, we're running into
Yeah.
our 8 o'clock hour. It's an awesome resource. Anthony can help to,
Coordinated, absolutely. So
Great.
we'll first provide the deck to you guys. If you want to schedule some time with us, Tom can actually show you things real time.
okay, perfect.
all right. Thank you so much, Tom. Any old business? Any new business? All right, without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.